We recently had a visit from Cork-born, American-raised oblit father Seamas Finn. Seamas has an international reputation for his work on corporate responsibility and of justice. He's travelled widely in the developing world and has seen at first hand the issues facing the poor. We took the opportunity of asking him a question. Seamas, a lot of our funding here in this office to all the oblit missions comes directly from Irish government through Irish Aid, as it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And given the recession, they've already cut back that budget, and rumours they may cut it again. Now, that is a policy that you can see the pressure to do that. Would you have a message for our government about saying it's not just about the loss of money, there are gains to be made for Ireland, even to be selfish about it?
Well, I'd answer it on a couple of different levels, but first of all, at the macro level, I think it's now been demonstrated rather clearly that, the transfer of resources, and natural resources in particular, from the developing countries to the developed countries in the world far out sizes and is much bigger than any kind of aid that the Irish government or the US government or the UK government transfers to the developing world in actual real, when you measure it in terms of real transfer. There may be some large amounts of money that we feel good about getting or giving, and that's important for what it supports, but there are huge benefits that come back from that at the macro level. I think at the at the actual local, closer to the ground level issue here is about dependency on the actual resources that we get from individual countries. We get all sorts of rare minerals. We get coltan, which is a key product in cell phone technology and communication, that otherwise maybe doesn't come directly here, but comes and is used by the companies that are located here that then provide jobs. Without it, as far as I know, that technology wouldn't be able to function. And there are other examples along that line of the same kind of minerals that could be available for different products that we've come to rely on, that companies who are located here market, produce, and sell. So then you go to a particular country, go to a Malawi, go to the Congo, go to Lesotho, but you look and say, well, what is the aid that's being given to these particular countries? And in most instances, it's focused on maybe some, what we would call in the area of particularly charitable work, that's building a clinic or paying a nurse, buying some medicine, opening a school, providing school books or whatever. That is really important in terms of the development of that local community, so that the children in that local community will have a future. So that whether it's particularly on things like healthcare, is there any kind of a public health system cobbled together that allows people to have somewhat of a life expectancy that's beyond 42. I think there are other levels where aid from Irish Aid goes to particularly building up civil society. A number of these countries have come out of a neo-colonial dictatorial period, and are only in the infancy of creating, a civil society infrastructure that allows them to choose the kind of government that they want, to have a fair and adequate participation in actually electing their leaders, in following the decisions that their leaders make, in assuring that their leaders are accountable and are transparent and not ripping them off as well. So it's a very delicate balance, and I think it's at our peril that we that we cut back when times are tough at home. I think the final kind of connect here is that when times are tough and particularly I think in terms of the human spirit and our values and our faith, we end up wanting to help somebody who's hurting as well. Their pain is our pain. So are we willing to, make the extra effort to help somebody that, we may not know their names, but we realize they need a helping hand. And in some ways, the larger question is we're already connected to them anyway. So if it's in a family does that for family members. Communities do that. And I think that's in the best positive spirit of who we are as human beings in God's image and likeness. That, just because we're having a tough old time and, we're trying to make ends meet, there's always somebody out there who could use a helping hand. And when we stop at, when we want to think about cutting that back as one of our options, I think it diminishes us as persons. I think it diminishes us as societies. I think it diminishes us as countries. And it's at our peril that we do.